There we go.
Were you in that class? Were you doing?
I had Miss Elliott. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we were, yeah. I remember who else was in that.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. That was easier to read. So easier than that way. Yeah. There, get rid of it. That's why I brought my own little bag. And a nice cup of tea to go with it.
Nice.
Oh, is that clock still on? All right. We will resume the meeting from yesterday. I'll pass it back to you, James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
What do you cover?
Well, that took a whole algorithm to do, you know, so. For real.
So,
There's no button, you have to, additional formatting and algorithm.
I think you just highlight it. Click on the button.
We should do it.
It's how my Excel.
On this one.
Yes, special. Special. It's how it balances.
Okay, so we have, I'm just gonna review, sort of the changes made between you, everyone has the third draft in front of them, so, I can't actually label the bylaw with second and third draft, so we wanna just scroll over the top, which one is second, which one is third, because they look awfully similar, but. Couple of the changes that were made overnight, we did manage to correct the reserve transfer list and protective services budget. That's on page 17. So it now says fire department equipment reserve, not fire department reserve, already left twice. That's more of a typo. 51056 emergency support services. We went from 8 to 15, a little bit more consistent with the previous years and in line with what we wanted to increase for emergency support services. Any questions on those changes? It's fairly straightforward. Economic development, page 21. Yeah, I transferred it to pop cans. Yeah, so capital expenditures, we asked, or it was asked that industrial park expansion was removed from the financial plan. After hours, the director of economic development reminded me that we still have the repair of the 3 existing industrial plot lands, commonly referred to as the swale, to repair. We have a quote to fix that for $200,000, and there is sufficient funds in the industrial park and land sales reserves to pay for that in 2025. That will enable those 3 lots to be sold, and that's also in the budget under the revenue side in general government to sell those for $700,000. So those were re-added. Any questions or comments about that change? So also the bylaw was amended to reflect the change in the amount to 200,000 and the alteration in the source of funds to land sales and industrial park reserve. Pulling up. Yeah, land sales right there, 2026, 700,000. Okay, moving along. Visitor center budget, page 23. Now reflects the destination BC funding at 18,000, slightly more than that, but again, conservatism when we rounded down to the nearest $1,000. Page 27, under the public works budget. So the fuel is now at 117, much more in line with previous years. It's a 4% increase over the highest year we've used in the last 5. We don't expect gasoline to spike. Cross our fingers and toes over that one, but that's where it landed.
Yeah, fire hatches.
Page 29. I went to go do the Cenotaph concrete replacement, but I don't think we came to a consensus on what year we wanted to put it into. So I was going to seek some guidance from council before I change that. Is it this year or is that next year or leave it in 27?
I think Jared needs to come up with a plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll leave it there and we will alter it when Jared comes up with something a little bit more concrete next month. And I also have the cost for the backhoes. I don't have a number for that yet, so we'll put it in as an alteration before third reading. Go ahead. Okay. Page 35. Waste management. Landfill scale is now in 2025.
I will.
First.
Yeah.
Municipal cemetery, I have a note that we have to research and up the non-resident rates for cemetery plots. I'll have to do a little research to figure out what the cemetery is and price it accordingly. So as soon as we have that number, we'll bring that by law to council to get that.
And it was suggested that we close it to non-residents if possible.
Really a budget issue, but
But that was for the investigation.
and page 39. Posse arena or arena Princeton Posse budget is now at 30 for 2025. Those are the changes I have reported. Which will alter the bylaw to reflect the new rates. First of all, any questions, comments, anything I might have missed in the updates last night?
Yeah, that's money determined by our paving budget.
Correct.
When does it come? When do we find
It comes in twice a year. It comes in June and December. Usually we do our paving in August and yeah, if there's any overage, then we will we'll carry that project until we don't spend more than $300 gas tax. So just review the bylaw and I'll grab a copy of it because I don't think I gave myself. No, I do have all the original. No, I left them in my office. Thank you. Perfect. So just we'll review the actual bylaw itself. I'll share that screen if I can make the computer cooperate. Window. There. Moment, please. Second to shift the screen. Okay, so, bylaw up now. Okay, so page one is, just, the balls and strikes of the bylaw and every bylaw. What we have, financial plan 2025-2029 repeals the old one once we get it adopted. Schedule A is the tax rate policy of 2019. Required to be in the bylaw every year. Schedule B is the 5-year consolidated financial plan. So that's basically the consolidated that's on page 4 to 8 of the booklet is transcribed into Schedule B. Show. $38,555,000 in revenue if all capital plans and everything gets executed properly. Expenses if all capital and operational expenses were to happen in the budget is $53,262,000. Reserve funds would be depleted $14,707,000 for this coming year, making a balanced budget of 0. Financial plan is required to have planned sources of revenue and planned distribution of municipal taxation, which is on page 5. Fairly straightforward. 38,500,000 total revenue is divided up between several categories. Planned distribution of municipal taxation further breaks down that $4,765,000 in taxation revenue by property class.
James, if we were able to execute all of the budget this year, that should be all of the, most of the, or less all the.
Yes, please.
Your mark for projects everything.
On page 50, it gives the breakdown, or page 50 of the budget document, it breaks down the total overall reserves per year, and it also does in Schedule D of the bylaw.
I just wanted to, that was on public.
Yes.
Where the reserve money is.
Schedule C is capital expenditures with the sources of funds listed. We fixed the typographical issues that Councillor Gould brought to light yesterday, which finance appreciates. Yeah, so they are listed down. I won't review all of them because we did yesterday. Just the changes. So we had the industrial park expansion. Identify where that project is. I believe it's on page 11, page 9.
It is on page 9.
Is it on page 9?
Yeah.
I'm just blind.
4th one down.
Oh, we want to hear.
There it is. Thank you. Yes. So right there. Thank you. Had trouble finding it. So, yeah. So 200,000. The object is to correct the swale on 3 industrial lots. The source of funding will be the industrial park reserve will be exhausted. Then the land sales reserve will be used for the balance. Schedule D, proposed reserve.
Sorry, can we go back to the schedule?
Sure.
on page 7, it's noting that you added in the bylaws, boundary replacement into it, which is the thing. On page 7 as well. Yeah, that you added that, and then, on the page 10, the arena condenser and compressor, you made a change to the description. Yeah, up top of the project, but not in the object. So it's housekeeping. But it's the condenser. Not the compressor. Not just the condenser.
Condemned compressor, yeah. So we'll add the slash and put.
And just noting that you made the amendment on page 11, article number 2, you amended the source of values to reflect the 3. And then on page 12, there's a difference in the amounts that I thought was going to be on the bylaw compliance project. I thought that it was going up from 165 to 265, but in here it says 295.
Yes, so that also reflects the $30,000 that Ed proposes to use for his bylaw dispute resolution.
Which I thought we were. Like, because when I asked about the things that are on that page, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's only 100.
Any discussion on that?
Yep.
So then in the budget, it would be under contractual services, right?
Actually, it's under general,
It's under the
Yeah.
general.
because the majority of it is for zoning, OCP, housing needs, accessibility, community.
Because it's a bylaw as well, it goes under general.
It's 295 in here.
Yeah,
and
it's 295
295
total
in
budget.
here. My ask was for 265.
265.
So I'm willing to remove it depending on the will of council for that.
Well, we need still to. So it's gonna cost money. It costs staff or something. Yeah, but it's still gonna cost. It's the budget balance. We're not, I am not in favor of going back to the other system. We have a new software system that's supposed to help with some of this stuff. Part of it, and just get the things reviewed. I think we could probably do it for less than 30,000, but I think it's probably safe 30,000 in there. Even if say we could get Stephanie to do it, or, a couple of days. Somebody's done.
Even if someone just can review the draft MTI and reference the fine schedules that are attached to those bylaws and make sure that they all align. So those get rescinded and start using the MTI.
And then if we write a code of management, some would go there. So we should leave it there.
It's also important to note that,
I agree with that. I don't think we're gonna put it was yesterday, but it's going to
Okay, I,
yeah, and it's also important to note that even if it's in the budget, because it's over $20,000, the purchasing policy still says that protective services are going to come in front of council for approval. So,
okay.
And honestly, I don't know if services mandated you, but legislative services, like that,
which is why it's in the general government budget.
it's not just reviewed by one department. Share them with those on. Keep us.
And then I was just quickly trying to figure out. Okay. I'm good now, so.
Okay. Schedule D is proposed reserve transfers and adjustments for non-cash transactions. The community charter requires that proposed transfers get put in. Obviously, if we don't do all things in the capital plan and depending on how much of the operational budget gets spent, these reserves will alter through the year, so the actual transfers are approved by resolution in February, the next fiscal year. So, those are listed on here, in and out. The overall schedule is listed on page 15. So for 2025, the maximum expected balance of reserves at the beginning of the year, 22,986,000. We add $1,759. We accrue $414,000 of interest. The estimate of that is based on a 5% interest rate. We're a little less than that, so it might alter the budget slightly, but that's the interest rate we kind of took with this. The total amount to be used from reserves, if it maxes out, 16,466,000. So an expected balance of reserves at the end of the year, $8,693,000. All those numbers in the at the bottom part, the maximum expected balance of reserves are all positive. So that's how we lead to a balanced budget, is to make sure we have enough reserves to be able to cover any shortfalls of anything at the end of the year. Non-cash adjustments. So remember, the financial plan and the budget are based on cash transactions. There's a number of amortization adjustments that need to be made through the year, and that's the schedule of them, so that we publish financial statements. The budget, it's listed in the budget so that they can adjust appropriately. Budget lines, and we don't have a lot of weird discrepancies between budget and accrued amounts on the financial statements. Schedule E is a permissive tax exemption policy, which is required to be put in the financial plan.
Sorry, James, can you go back to page 16?
Yes.
It's just a little bit different than yesterday's. So-
Yes, it will be, because we had, we drew from the land sales reserve to pay for the swale repair,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then there'll be an interest adjustment as well. Because we have less money.
it just doesn't have like the bottom view, like total amortization, capital plan adjustments, net unadjusted change in net adjusted.
Yeah, it doesn't, that doesn't make any sense, so,
Yesterday's didn't make any.
so, yeah, that's what's required for the financial statement, so I took the last 3 lines out. Trying to make it as concise of a document as I can. Schedule E is required to be put in under legislation. That's our current current policy for tax exemptions. Schedule F is our reserve fund enabling schedule. It is important. I did put one extra section in here, and I'll just highlight it. The top of page 28, which is the last. Fairly easy to put the document over. I did not have the climate action reserve in there, so the province has granted us money under the local government climate action program. Because we're keeping this money from year to year to year, it gets put into a reserve. Money that is put in that reserve can be used for projects that assist the municipality reach legislated climate targets, or projects that assist the municipality achieve provincial climate goals outlined in the Clean BC Roadmap to 2030, or the climate preparedness and adaptation strategy.
They go through all that to figure it out. It's not just
When did that funding stream start?
a little years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
There's quite a few reports. Well, we have to put it in a reserve because it's for a specific thing.
But we don't have to have its own separate statutory reserve.
Didn't see that in there.
No, but because we're keeping it year after year after year, it should be in a reserve account so that it can only be used for the purposes that the province is granted for. So that's what I have, unless there are any further comments or questions or issues. I'll throw the floor open to council and staff to to make comment. And if there are no further comments or questions, then I will ask council for first and second reading on the bylaw and for staff to refer it to a period of public consultation.
Comments? Call the question, all in favor? Carried. Good work.
Thank you, council. I appreciate your support in everything we've done over the last 6 years, and yeah, if there's any questions or comments on the budget or financials moving forward, my door is always open. So,
How did you get to sleep last time?
it was an early night for me, 7:30. I left the
I was
office.
gonna say, you took your time, text me back this week.
Yes.
Okay, if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn. Moved by Ellie, seconded by Wood. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. With that. Thank you.
Well done.
Good job, James.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much. appreciate you did this up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It even helps speed reading.
Promise next year I'll make sure that I'm not quite up yet. I will make sure that